Hello, future pilots. Whether you're completely new or a pub stomper who wants to get serious, pickup games push the limits of Titanfall 2's system mechanics and are the gateway drug into the world that is competitive capture the flag. Pickup games are a place to have some intense fun, improve yourself, show off your skills, find a static team, or to just vibe in. In this video, I'll be going over how to join pickup games, the specific rule set that is used during them, meta loadouts, Titan play, gunplay, movement, and finally, flag running. Pickup games are 10-mans for people of all skill level happen in the Titanfall Pickup Discord, which is linked in the description. Make sure to read the Welcome channel and the Earn Pilot Role channel before anything else. When you're ready to pug, go to the CTF Pugs channel and hit ++ and then send that message. And when 10 players are queued up, our bot will message you, letting you know that your match is ready to play. We play on 125% health, and we change a few more of the rules from standard CTF that you'll find in public matches. The big ones are that we use Highlander Titans and Highlander Ordnance, which means that you can't have more than one of the same Titan or Ordnance on a team, although you can have as many Fire Stars on a team as you want. Other than that, the other caveats that you should know are that you can't use grapple while having the enemy flag held, and you can't use a charge rifle and an SMG at the same time unless you are using charge hack. Meta loadouts. The car is the go-to weapon in pickup games, but you will see the R101 used occasionally as well because it's good at range and it allows you to use a standard charge rifle. The Kraber and the Eva C play every now and then, but if you're starting out, I recommend sticking to the car. You'll want to run a combination of speed loader, extra ammo, and tactical on it. However, tactical is a bit more niche and should only be used by flag runners in my opinion. Use any anti-Titan weapon, but be aware that the Archer is the weakest of them all. And then throw on a nice little RE45 to clean up your kills, have fast regen on, and you're pretty much good to go. Titan play. Any Titan except Scorch brings good utility to a team, and you should be fine with whatever loadout you're using, but double check with more in-depth Titan tutorials, like the ones made by Frothy. Be mindful of when you drop your Titan and what it means for your team. For example, if the other team has 3 Titans and you have none on the field yet, but you can drop, you might want to wait till one of your teammates gets a Titan too, so you can drop together. If at any point you're still not sure whether you should drop your Titan, just ask your teammates. It doesn't hurt. Now, make sure not to play too aggressively, and be aware of the fact that you have the ability to defend your own flag extremely well. If you ever come into a stalemate scenario where a flag is pulled by each team, make sure your flag runner stays by your feet so you can punch their dead body if you need to. Last thing is to be aware of cloak pilots, and if you're getting satcheled by them, make sure to call it out to your team so they can help you out. Gunplay. A rule of thumb for top level car gunplay is to not only aim with your mouse, but to aim with your movement as well. Aiming with your movement greatly simplifies how you have to aim at an enemy, and gives you a bit more leeway when correcting for the enemy's movement with your mouse. This is called body tracking. For example, if you're tracking a stim pilot at mid-range who's moving directly horizontally right across your screen, you'll want to move right with them. Now, when you're in a close-range firefight, you're going to want to try and mimic your opponent's movements exactly. They move right, you move right. They move left, you move left. They jump, you jump. They double jump, you double jump. It basically makes it so you only have to correct a little bit to hit your target rather than aiming around all the way. And this helps a lot in a game like Titanfall 2 where AD strafing is extremely powerful. Another strat is counter strafing. It's the opposite of body tracking, generally used so that they have to cross your line of bullets when they change directions. They move right, you move left, and vice versa. It's basically... Not only is it different, but it can fake your opponent out and get that last shot in when they cross. Finally, AD strafing on the ground as a means to stay alive while tracking your enemy is extremely effective. This is more freeform and more based on survivability coupled with erratic movement by spamming A and D repeatedly. It can win you a lot of good firefights. You basically just want to be as hard to hit as possible, maybe making your movement seem even random. Movement. Sliding is an integral part of Titanfall 2, and you can start a slide by sprinting into a crouch, or sprinting and then jumping into a crouch. And then, once you're in a slide, you can continue jumping to start a slide hop. Slide hopping is the primary form of movement in this game, and you can couple slide hops with air strafing. Air strafing is holding A and looking left, or holding D and looking right while in the air. It is a source mechanic that allows you to build speed. Now you're going to want to constantly do it while you're slide hopping. Now, let's talk about walls. You can run on them, turn around while on them, jump off of them, and much, much more. There are 3 mechanics that build your speed up the most, though. Wall kicking being the most important. A wall kick is when you jump off of a wall instance within touching it. And it builds your speed up greatly. More the faster it is, actually. It is a 5-tick trick, and if you get a first tick wall kick, you get a bunch of speed. And you'll still get some, but 5-tick wall kicks aren't too great, for example. The other 2 are end boosts. Jumping off a wall at the end of your wall run. Right when the game wants to kick you off, you jump and you will get what's called an end boost. Now, you can get an end boost, but quicker by forcing an end boost. And you force an end boost by strafing off of a wall and jumping off the wall while you're getting pushed off. Like that. You'll get a feel for it. This one's a bit more hard, and it takes a little bit more time to get used to. And the last one is an edge boost. If you jump off an edge, you'll get a similar boost to an end boost. So while you're slide hopping and slaloming, you want to swap strafe directions before you land if you're going to strafe at all. So left, right, left, right, right, left. And that's because of lurch. Lurch is a mechanic that is active at the start of every jumping mechanic. Jumping, wall kicking, double jumping, whatever it is. Right directly after it, you will be able to lurch. And generally, lurching is pretty negative because it will lose you a bit of speed because you will be getting pushed in a direction. That is what lurch is. You get pushed in a direction extra if you press it directly after a jump. So to illustrate it, I'll lurch right here. You see how far I move? I go right to there. And then we'll wait till the end of the jump and do like one press. And you don't move as far. But the main thing being that when you lurch, you will lose speed. But there are ways we can cancel lurch. So canceling it off a wall, the way to do that is by holding diagonal. You hold these 2 buttons, and then when you jump, you let go of W. And it means you can strafe instantly without losing speed. And it's the same for wall kicks. We call them strafe kicks. That's a strafe kick. And you can do it for double jumps by pressing both your strafe directions in the air. It basically counts as a neutral input, except you won't get a lurch after it. And you can also cancel lurch when you disembark from Titans by pressing a diagonal as well, and then letting go of W as you start. And the main thing that you need to know is that lurch isn't always a negative thing. Lurch can actually be really positive and bring a lot of spice into your movement. Okay, so there's 3 main ways we're going to want to use lurch. The first is tap strafing. Tap strafing lets you take really sharp corners by tapping W right after a jump and stacking multiple lurch inputs on top of each other. This is not something you could usually do, you know? Like you can take 90-degree turns and still have speed. Tap strafing is easily one of the most important movement mechanics in the game, and you should really learn it. You can also do it out of double jumps. You can do it basically anywhere. Now the 2 that are a bit more niche are fizzy strafes. Gives you a little bit more of a sharp turn. I generally only use this like as evasive maneuvers, like when I'm running flags and I don't want to get shot. You know, you can turn like really hard, but you do lose quite a bit more speed. And then another one is spam strafes. You like spam both your diagonals like that, and it's just even more intense. But I use this one even less. I probably don't use it much at all. So yeah, those are the 3 main ones. And you want to keep in mind that like, if grapple and stim didn't exist, you would have to use like all the movement tech I showed you earlier and like wall kicks to get your speed up. But the fact that stim is a thing makes everything a lot easier for you, because you can instantly keep a lot of speed, and all you'll have to do is slide hop to not lose it. You know, you don't have to do wall kicks, you don't have to do crazy stuff. And the same goes for grappling, but grappling is a bit more advanced, and I'm not going to go over grapple or grapple caps. And speaking of caps, keep in mind that you cannot win a game of capture the flag unless you capture the flag. So I'm going to teach you a bit about running flags, the mentality behind them, behind it, what to do, how to do it, everything. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so flag running. In most of these instances, I'm going to assume that you have stim ready before you pick up the flag. So flag running essentially boils down to moving from point A to point B as efficiently as possible. However, pugs aren't an isolated experience. There are a lot of variables to consider, and the quickest flag cap isn't always optimal. Essentially, you need a lot of map awareness and game sense to be a good flag runner. Where's my team? Where's the enemy team? How many people just died? When will they be spawning? Where? It may seem like a lot to take in, but it will all come to you with time. Something concrete you can do while you're still learning how to pull flags is to ask your teammates, can I pull down X instance before pulling? Not only does this clarify if you have a clear shot to your base, but it also sets the stage for your team to take map control that will help your pull. But concepts are just concepts, and being too patient can come back to bite you when you're running flags. Sometimes you need to let your intuition take over and just run that flag, baby. A lot of where getting really good at flag running happens is in your evasive maneuvers and ability to improvise. Tap strafes, fizzy strafes, spam strafes are all extremely hard to track and are even better when you're stimmed. Being able to shake someone off is difficult enough already, so you really want to imagine how to cut off the lines of sight behind you as you're moving forward, and how to protect yourself from certain positions. A lot of the times I'll choose a suboptimal route because it gives me a lot more cover. Staying alive as long as possible and getting the flag even just close to your base for your teammates to chain is almost as valuable as a flag cap itself. Pulling when the enemy has a Titan out is riskier and riskier the more they have on the field, but if your team has Titans too and is controlling parts of the map, you can book it. Sometimes you'll want to even deliberately go slow and have your own Titan escort you to base. Speaking of base, the last thing you need to be aware of is clearing base. When pulling, if you don't know if your own base is clear, ask. And if your team hasn't cleared it, they should go in and clear it for you. People get really sneaky in pickup games, and nothing is worse than pulling off a really hard cap just to die a few inches from the flag. Now, in a second, I'll show you some fundamental flag cap routes on each map. Keep in mind that learning to move will greatly increase your success in pugs and public matches, so keep it the practice, and I hope to see you on the Frontier, pilots. Keep in mind that this map is symmetrical, so you can do all these caps on both sides.